Our agenda today, and it's also found in your printed agenda. If you didn't get one, make sure you get one up front if we have any left. I have some news that I would like to share. Then we have two speakers who are running for the same position here in the city of Greenwood. We've got James Jones and Robert Dean. We will hear about their campaigns for city council. Johanna Bishop, fresh off of her victory, is here to speak. Oh, yes, round of applause. She certainly earned it. Who ends in a tie? Who does that? Who does that? And then our keynote speaker, this young man right here, Ishan Lal, he's got some interesting stories to tell, and I can't wait for him to introduce himself to you. Then we have the coveted Volunteer of the Month Award. And then we're going to try to wrap up early so that we can have a couple of subcommittee meetings. So we're going to stay behind and try to get some planning and organizing done. So let's start with some updates. First of all, who agrees with me that it has been a long, tough month? Who agrees? Round of applause. From the Supreme Court gutting just about everything that we held dear, to politicians across the country just snubbing their nose in the face of the rights of their citizens, shootings nonstop nationwide, and you just wonder, when are we next? And then even local politicians who are in Columbia as we speak, smiling and gleeful about putting in some very draconian laws, and they just can't wait to get that signed on the dotted line. So it has not been the best of months for democracy. But even with that said, I see plenty of evidence for hope. So my heart is not discouraged. I have been to protests and marches where I've seen hundreds of people show up in force to let their voice be known that they are displeased. I've seen people, young kids get involved in the Democratic Party and help with campaigns. And even if they didn't fully understand what they were doing, they felt like they were making a difference and learning the process. And one day, maybe these young ones will grow up to be activists and leaders. I see a bunch of us traveled to Columbia several weeks back for the annual convention. Raise your hand if you went to the convention. It was an incredible experience. Almost 1,000, if not more, Democrats from across the state gathered together to hear Vice President Kamala Harris, to see Representative Jim Clyburn speak, and many other candidates and elected officials. And it was a great show of unity and fraternity, and it was just a wonderful experience. And then just take a look around you. The fact that we've got over 60 people here today on a Saturday morning in Greenwood, of all places. In Greenwood. You know, I talk to county parties in Richland and in Greenville and in Columbia, and they do backflips if they get 30 people to show up to a meeting. We've got 60. So a round of applause to y'all for showing the spirit and keeping the light lit even in the darkest of times. So I see this evidence of hope, and I wonder, where can we make the biggest difference? And it's really in terms of participation. You know, we do have the numbers. I see it. I'm a data guy. I've scraped our voting database up and down. We do have a lot of Democrats in Greenwood County, but getting them out to vote is different. You know, I went to the Greenville protest for reproductive rights, and there were easily 600-700 people. Some estimates had it over 1,000. There were a lot of people there. I took some great videos and some great photos. And then I look around them and I see them chanting and getting emotional and being passionate. And then I take a look at the participation rate in the primaries. 17% statewide, 10% here in Greenwood. We've had more people show up to protest than show up to vote. And that's not going to change anything. So I've heard some bickering about, why aren't we protesting here? Why aren't we protesting there? The anger and the upsetness and the passion should be about getting these people encouraged and enabled to go out and cast their vote, because that's where the action is. It's in the legislative fields. It's at the State House. We can't count on the federal government or the Supreme Court to protect us anymore. The battle has shifted to the states, and all the actions are happening at the state level. Now, as we look at these numbers and we see 10%, that's 10% on the Republican side as well. In fact, I'll share this with you. Analysis was done, and here in the Lakelands area, Greenwood County was the only county that had a higher Democratic turnout rate than the Republicans did. Yeah, so there's a little glimmer of hope. You know, for that little 10% that we did eke out, we got more Democrats, as a percentage showing up than Republicans, and that was stunning. We were called rock stars, by the way. I was on a campaign coordination event for Joe Cunningham, so it was multiple counties participating, and they went through the numbers, and they gave a special shout out to Greenwood. So we have the opportunity. Where do we have the opportunity? Well, the numbers are clear. We look at the 2020 election, and we can see it broken down by precinct. Statewide, South Carolina turned out 72% for the 2020 election. That's huge. That's a record. Here in Greenwood County, as a county, 74% turned out to vote. Great participation on both sides. But then you look at each of the 50 precincts in Greenwood County and do some analysis. And you see that the Democratic-leaning precincts, the precincts right here where this church sits, very low turnout, 50%. 1 out of every 2 registered voters showed up during that presidential election. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we have our opportunities. We talk about registering voters, and I think that's great. But to me, the numbers are in the turnout. So our focus over the next 4.5 months is going to be about hitting these precincts where there's low participation, where there are registered voters, and letting them know they can turn it out and make a difference. We saw it in the primary, low turnout even on the Republican side, which means we have a golden opportunity to turn out some numbers and make a difference in what I anticipate to be a pretty poorly turned out midterm election as well. And I'm counting on that because I think we can inspire enough Democrats with these recent Supreme Court rulings, with the state laws that are being passed. There's a lot of us out there who are mad, and mad as hell. So I think we have a good opportunity to motivate them and get them out, and I ask you all to join me. We have a couple of events coming up. One of the ways you can get involved to help make a difference is to join our search and support committee. We're going to be relaunching this shortly. I have tapped Dr. Jamel Brooks. Would you please stand so people know who you are? Where are you, Jamel? There she is, over in blue. Welcome, Dr. Brooks. She is going to be organizing, scheduling meetings, finding places to meet, and putting it together. Then it's going to be up to us to join her and help make those recommendations. Her goal will be to find, and the committee's goal will be to find great local candidates for school board, for city council, and other town council positions. We want to make sure that here at the local level, we have good people we can trust to make the right decisions for us, who will be our voice against those that look to oppress us. So please sign up on the volunteer form if you're interested, or just reach out to Jamel here directly. She's got the color perfect dark blue for the Democrats over there. So she'll be easy to find, and sign up with her. We also have announced already Floyd's Fish Fry. We're about to kick it into high gear, August 27th. George, would you raise your hand back there? George is manning the fish fry table. We have tickets for sale now. He's got 150 tickets, and he gives them all away. That puts us off to a great start. We've also got volunteer forms if you want to help with Floyd's Fish Fry. I know we've had some people who worked our fish fry last year, and hopefully you'll come back. It was a fun event. So please volunteer. If you can sell tickets, right? You can grab a batch. Please help us sell them. The more we can raise for us, the more we give to our candidates and help them in their campaigns. So we're excited. In fact, if you want to be part of the organizing committee, we're going to meet very quickly this morning to go over some notes and some next steps. So stick around after this meeting and we can meet. All right, so the ticket prices are on the ticket itself, but we have 4 different offerings. So we've got the fish tray, 2 pieces of fish, bread, 2 sides, and a drink and dessert, $16 a plate. Last year it was $15, but our supplier increased rates by $1, and so did we. All right, so we're trying to keep it low. We don't make a lot of money off the meals. $16 for the fish, and just like last year with no change, hamburger plates, $10, hot dog plates, $10, and veggie burger plates, $10. Now, I say this because I know some of you in attendance tried to get a veggie plate from us last year. And due to a failure in communication, people told you we were out when we had a whole cooler full of veggie burgers. So this year we're going to make sure that everybody knows we got the burgers, so I'm not eating veggie burgers for 3 months afterwards. But we are going to have plenty of veggie plates for those who prefer that. And then we're also happy to announce our second Carnell-Drummond-Mays dinner. We've scheduled a date, Thursday, October 20th, and we've begun planning for that event as well. It will be an indoor formal event, our last hurrah before the election day on November 8th. And we're also going to have a quick planning committee meeting for that right after we talk about the fish fry this morning. So stick around if you're interested in participating. Any other announcements anybody would like to make or that I can share on your behalf before we get into our speakers for the day? Ms. Wanda. All right, so if you didn't hear that, there's a back-to-school supplies drive for the children of Ware Shoals, one of the needier precincts in Greenwood County. The Ware Shoals Councilwoman, Valerie Jackson, is organizing it. We've helped her out with it last year, so if you can make a monetary or supplies donation, please see Ms. Wanda Moore over there. She's helping coordinate that on our behalf. It was also announced in one of our email newsletters, so if you are reading those, you can see the details there. And I believe it was the newsletter from last week. So thank you, Ms. Wanda. Appreciate all the work you do on behalf of the community care movement.